Welcome back to Ask Dr. Clarke, where I answer questions from subscribers to my podcast and my YouTube channel, and others, frankly, who find me through my books and through my website, which, by the way, is David E. Clarke, PhD, Clarke with an E, davideclarkephd.com. See how I moved that website in there? Clever marketing. Now, today's topic is this: when the adulterer blames you for the divorce. Now, before today's question, I ask you to help us help more hurting people by subscribing to my YouTube channel and tapping the like button. As we grow our audience, we can help more people that are in marital crisis or divorced and trying to recover or having some other tough life situation. Now, in my podcast, I Don't Want a Divorce, and in my Ask Dr. Clarke videos, you get teaching that is not in the Christian mainstream. You may have noticed that if you've looked at any of my stuff. I'm outside the Christian mainstream on marriage, on divorce, on marital crisis, but I'm okay with that because I believe I'm speaking biblical truth and it's making a difference. After 35 years, you know what works and you know what doesn't work. Okay, today's question is from a subscriber to my podcast, and here it is. She actually emailed me, and of course I responded, and then I like the question so much, I'm going to share it with you. She says, "Hey, David, I enjoy listening to your podcast." Well, that's a good start. Of course she does. "My husband and I were married for 5 years when he abruptly left me, and I quickly found out it was for another woman." Well, yeah, that stinks. Happens all the time. He has filed for divorce at this point. His choice, not her. Even though she has biblical reason, he doesn't. "My husband fits the description for a narcissist. I'll bet he does, which makes me hopeless that he will repent and come back. Yeah, probably not, but we'll see. Tough love might just shake him up. Besides that, my question has to do with history in our marriage. Our first year of marriage, I didn't realize he was a narcissist, right? These guys are very charming at first, and they win you over, and you have no idea what you're getting. And it was one of the worst years of my life," she says. "Yeah, I bet it was. He pulled me into a sinful lifestyle that led me to drinking a lot." Okay, that was her fault. "Which led to his friend and I having an emotional relationship, which led to one kiss." Okay, that was wrong. That was sinful. "Took her a year," she says here, to come clean to her husband, but she did. She confessed what she did, and before God and him, and thought that they had moved past it. Fast forward to him leaving me for his mistress, and now here's the key. He is blaming me, saying I cheated and broke the wedding vows and that he has done nothing wrong. Well, that's ridiculous, but that's what people that sin do. Everything's justified. "From my understanding," she says, "anything that happened in the past that didn't cause the demise of the marriage doesn't make it a sin for me to remarry." Yeah, you're right. "The way I've understood is he left, true, and I have biblical reason for divorce, yes, even though I don't want it, and what I did in the past won't cause me, or if I remarry my next husband, to be an adulterer. Please help me understand." This dear lady wants to know that if she remarries, she will not be committing adultery or continuing to sin. Also, she mentions here that she's looking for a Christian counselor to help her, and the ones she's seen have not been very helpful, don't have a clear plan, are more weak and passive, which is often the case. And I simply say to her and to you listening that I am still a full-time therapist. I do these, of course, the podcast, the videos, social media, but I am in the books, but I'm still a full-time therapist doing a lot of phone advice sessions. For the same price as seeing me in person here in Tampa, Florida, you can have a 45-minute session. I'll get the background. I'll give you a clear plan of action. So yes, I can talk to this dear lady if she wants to, or anybody else. If you got the money, I've got the time, all right, and hopefully the expertise. Now, here's my answer to her. I mentioned I'm glad she reached out. Sorry she's going through this, of course. "It's very common," I said to her, "for a spouse who wants out to blame you for the divorce he wants and the sin he's engaged in. It is opposite world, especially with a narcissist, but also with serious sinners. It's all your fault. Never forget, it's all your fault in their crazy heads. Your husband is a selfish, lying adulterer. No question about that. He does sound like a narcissist, I say, and no question he's a dirtball. At least at this point, 100% grade A dirtball. And I say to her that you are correct, that nothing you did in the marriage that did not cause it to end would prevent you from remarrying. That's true. I say to her, you did sin. You acknowledge that with this emotional affair, but you confessed to your husband and to God. That's all God requires. And at that point, your husband said that he'd forgiven you. If he didn't, that's his fault. Your emotional affair, which was some time ago, has nothing to do with your divorce or his ongoing adultery. Nothing, no connection at all. He wants to connect the two, to blame you, which is ridiculous. His sin is the only issue now in God's eyes. Now, if he repents, if he stops his sin, if he walks with the Lord, if he helps you heal from what he did to you, because his sexual affair is far worse than what you did anyway, if all that happens, then as part of the process ongoing, if he still has issues with your emotional affair, if he hadn't forgiven you, okay, fine. That can be dealt with at that point. He is justifying his sin by blaming your sin, which happened in the past and which you confessed and stopped. He has no biblical reason for divorce since you confessed your sin and repented. Stop the behavior. You, I say to this lady, you do have a biblical reason for divorce, his ongoing adultery. Not only does she have the reason, she didn't file, he did. So after the divorce, I'm telling you, you are free to remarry as long as it is to a Christian. You and your new husband will not be committing adultery. He and his new woman will be. You and your new husband, should God provide a new husband for you, will not be. I would recommend that if in fact this goes to a divorce, you get my brand new book, I Didn't Want a Divorce, Now What? And in addition, I think it's very important to get a couple of more books, My Spouse Wants Out. In your immediate situation, My Spouse Wants Out. How to get angry, fight back, and save your marriage. Be very helpful now for the tough love piece. And then also, if we do have a narcissist here, my book on narcissism and abuse, Enough is Enough, How to Leave an Abusive Relationship, would also be, I think, very helpful. Also, check out my recent podcast I did, and all these are archived. My recent podcast entitled Divorce, Remarriage, and the Bible. So this is my answer to this lady whose husband, the adulterer, is blaming her for the divorce. Baloney. So that's what I say about that.